What's up, y'all? Sparta here. I want to talk about the screen on the LG V40 here real quick. And overall how I've been feeling about it over this past few days. And honestly, I just want to really say that this has a very, very good display here. Like, I would even say phenomenal. And I will talk about that real quick, and I want to compare it to its brethren and its predecessor, the G7 and V40, V30. And I want to talk about how the three of these displays compare. Specifically, more in depth, I will talk about the V30 versus V40 displays in their comparison video. But when it comes to compared to G7 and V40, is going to be more similar than you think, because even though this is an LCD and this is a OLED panel, they do have the same resolution, whereas the V30 has a lower resolution. So let's get into this. So excluding the G7 out of the equation real quick, I want to talk about these two phones here. So, LG V30 versus LG V40. What is the real difference? Both of them have an OLED display supplied by LG. Both get super bright. Both are super sharp. But while this has a, I believe, 2880 by 1440p display, which is Quad HD plus, this has a 3120 by 1440p display, which is pretty much teetering on 3K territory right there. Slightly above 4K in the vertical, but in the horizontal, it's still technically Quad HD in that department there, which is why they still call it Quad HD plus. I'm not necessarily sure the pixel density of each of these displays, but I will talk about what I can see with the naked eye. And pixels per inch don't really matter. They're just a big number that people like to cream themselves to. So I'm going to just talk about how these look to the naked eye. Okay, so I will say that the V40 does look sharper. It looks crisp. It looks more crisp. Things pop with this display. Things look very sharp. Nothing looks fuzzy or anything like that. And while I won't say that this display makes the V30s look like crap, it definitely doesn't. You can definitely see the amount of work and the amount of, time and effort they put in to make the V40's display even better than the V30s, especially after all the backlash and negative press they got over the V30's display when it came to color shifting and all that blotchiness and all that extra stuff that a couple people had, but then it overblew it and made it seem like everyone had it. So, color shifting. I don't get a horrendous amount of color shifting on my V40 as of yet. I haven't really been able to check, but what I will do is I will show you guys here. I gotta go to a freaking website just so I can look at it. Kinda sucks, but let me do this real quick. Are you kidding me, man? Okay, so. Okay. So I got me a white background here. You won't really be able to tell on video, and it might look a little bit tinted pinkish on the video, but while looking at it straight on, it looks white. It doesn't look pink or blue or anything like that. So I shift to the left. It does get a little bit gray, but that's kind of expected. Same when I do it to the left side here. I tilt it down and tilt it up, it pretty much does the same thing. It doesn't have the like insane amount of color shifting that a lot of OLED displays tend to have. Like a lot of people got it with their Note 8, not Note 8, V30, but I saw it more on my Note 8 when I had it. So let me do this here real quick. Do I really gotta? And I'm gonna look at the exact same picture here. So okay, so V30. As you guys can see, there is a bit of like blue shift right there. And when I personally look at it, it is there, but it's not horrendous. Same when I do it to the left here. There's a bit of it, but it's not terrible. Down, it is there. Up, it's there. But as I said, it's not super bad to the point where I'm like, ugh, this looks bad. And another thing that has been improved, there's no light bleed out of the edge. There's not a lot of light bleed out of the edge when it comes to the V40, whereas the V30, you can kind of see it right there. You can kind of see it right here. But I saw that the most when it came to my Note 8 rather. Okay, so I have full brightness on here as well. As you guys can see, you can't really see light bleed out of the edge right here or anywhere around. So it's pretty much uniform when it comes to that. You do see it a little bit when you're like watching videos at night or stuff like that. You will kind of see it, but it's not to the point where it's bothersome, to be completely honest. Let's talk about always on displays here as well. Both of these have them. Both of these have the ability to have the always on display be brighter, and they are very easy to see in direct sunlight and stuff like that. So yeah, overall I would say the V30 and V40, the V40 has the better display. You can set both of these to go down to 1080p if you want more battery life or whatever, and all that extra stuff. So I'm going to talk about G7 versus V40 here. Now both of these have the same resolution display, but the G7 obviously has a smaller display at, I believe, 5.2 inch. Let me check that. I want to check that real quick. LG G7 screen size. Because I didn't even know for my it's a 6.1 inch display, whereas I believe the V40 has a 6.4 inch display. So it's quite impressive to see that both of these have similar sized displays, but the G7 is more compact. So if that's what you want a tall display, but you want a smaller phone, the G7 is right for you. V40 is personally the one I feel is better to hold in the hand for me personally, because I got gigantic hands, as you guys can see here. But as you guys can also see, the always on display is brighter on the V40 as compared to the G7, and both of these do indeed have the toggle to make the always on display brighter. But due to this being an LCD, it only really does that when it's in direct sunlight, whereas on here it'll do it period. But I will talk about the ability to the boosted brightness mode on the LG G7 here. So as you guys can see, I have different type of wallpapers here, Katana and Melina, but They look pretty much on par when it comes to brightness. But on here, you can choose on the left here, you press this toggle and it'll get even brighter. And it does look brighter. And it doesn't really sacrifice sharpness. And I believe that'll cut off after like 3 minutes of being on. So you're not destroying your battery. But yeah, both of these have a 3120 by 1440p display. And everything looks sharp on both of these. I will say it looks a tad sharper on the V40 because some things do look a tad washed out on the G7 because of the LCD display, but it's not to the point where it's like, everything looks terrible and stuff like that. So, yeah. It's not to the point where I'd be like, the G7 screen is unbearable and it's unusable. Everything looks nice and sharp, but some things will look washed out due to the nature of the display, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as that goes. I will say, though, comparing the V40's display to that of the OnePlus 6T, which I'm using to record this video, that's why it's not in the frame. When I go back to the 6T after looking at this display, the 6T's does look a bit blurry. It does look a bit, pixelated and stuff like that, but that's also because of the fact that it has a 1080p display. So, there you go. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as this video goes, you guys. I will be doing more reports on this to let you guys know if my V40 has had, screen burn-in and stuff like that. I will indeed talk about that in the future. But this is Sparta. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the support. Hope you guys have a wonderful Friday or whatever time of day it is in your area. Have a good one. If you like this video, like it, dislike it. If you dislike it, share with people that are interested in the sort of content. Thanks for almost 600 subscribers, 599. We're almost there. And have a good one, you guys.